let us learn what is environment. So environment is external surrounding and condition which is directly or indirectly affects the living organism. Or you can also say environment is sum total of water, air and land and interrelationship among themselves and also with the human beings and other living organism and property. So first what we learn? What is environment? So environment is our surrounding, right? Our surrounding is made up of two components, biotic and abiotic components. So environment is combination of biotic components and abiotic components. Biotic components are living components and abiotic components are non-living components. We are surrounded by this biotic and abiotic components. As you can see in the figure, there is greenery, there are trees, there are buildings, there are human beings. So everything which is there in our surrounding is known as environment. Now, let us study what is ecology. So what do you mean by ecology? Ecology is derived from two Greek words named oikos meaning house and habitation, or you can say a place of living, and the other one is logos meaning study. So ecology is study of habitation or study of house is known as ecology. Ecology is also known as study of interrelationship between living organism and their physical biological environment. So as you can see here, when I am studying the relationship of tiger with its surrounding, then it is known as ecology. When I study the relationship of human being with its surrounding, then it is known as ecology. Now, let us study what is ecosystem. So what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is made up of two words, eco and system. A system or a group of interconnected elements formed by interaction of community of organism with their environment is known as ecosystem. For example, when you study the whole system of interconnected elements with its environment, then it is known as ecosystem. Food chain, food web, biological cycles, these all are part of ecosystem because food chain consists of smaller organism to bigger organism. So you are studying smaller organisms also, bigger organism also, and their interrelationship with each other, then it is known as ecosystem. Here you can see that human beings, biome, ecosystem, community, population and individual. So you are studying all of these, individuals, population, community, ecosystem, biome, then you biosphere, all the relationship of all these components with each other, that is known as ecosystem. Now what is the scope of environmental science? Now we are studying what is environment, why we should preserve environment, how we can conserve the environment, what are the methods to conserve the environment, then what is the scope to learn about environmental science. So the scope of environmental science is, it is the scientific study of our environment and our place in it. Second scope of environmental science is study of earth, air, water, living organism and the man with his impact on the environment. So what we are going to study in environmental science, first is it is a scientific study, then we are going to study about living organism and man's impact on the other living organism. Then third, it is highly multidisciplinary, integrating disciplines of physical, chemical and biological science, geological, mathematics, sociology. So in this we have to study all of this, mathematics, science, biology, chemical, everything we are going to study to learn about environmental science. Environmental science or environmental studies is therefore a multidisciplinary subject where different aspects are dealt with holistic approach. So we are going to study different aspects of environment with an holistic approach, right? So now, if we need to study environment, we should always know what are the components of environment. So environment consists of two components as I told you earlier, one is biotic and the other one is known as abiotic components. So what are biotic components? Biotic components are known as living components. And what are abiotic components? Abiotic components are known as non-living components. Now, in biotic components also there are different components present in biotic components. What are those components? First is atmosphere, second is hydrosphere, third is lithosphere, and fourth is known as biosphere. So biotic component consists of four components, which is atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. Now, in components of environment, the first component we are going to study is atmosphere. So what is atmosphere? The region surrounding the earth is known as atmosphere. Atmosphere is generally a mixture of gases surrounding the earth. So you can see the figure where there is earth, planet earth is there, and the surrounding of the planet earth is known as atmosphere. Atmosphere is made up of different gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, helium. All these gases are present in the atmosphere. Now, let us study the layers of atmosphere. So, atmosphere is divided into different layers. The layer which is nearmost to the Earth's surface is known as troposphere, which is nearmost to the Earth's surface. You can see it in the figure that the nearmost layer is known as troposphere. As you go above, the second layer is known as stratosphere, and the third layer is known as mesosphere. Fourth layer is known as thermosphere, and fifth layer is known as exosphere, which is at the end of the atmospheric system. So first is troposphere, second is stratosphere, third is mesosphere, fourth is thermosphere, and fifth is exosphere. The red line which you can see here is showing the temperature. Initially, the temperature in troposphere is very high because the layer is nearmost to the Earth's surface. So because of the pollution, the temperature is very high initially in troposphere. You can see here. See the temperature range in the figure. Then, as we go above, as the height increases, which layer comes? Stratosphere. Here the temperature drops down, right? So when temperature is dropping here, but what does stratosphere consist of? Stratosphere consists of ozone layer. What is ozone layer? Ozone layer absorbs the ultraviolet rays, so it absorbs the heat there. So again the temperature will increase because it is absorbing the heat. The second layer is absorbing the heat, so the temperature has increased. Then what happens? As we go higher in form of altitude, what happens? The temperature again drops down. Mesosphere is the third layer of atmosphere, which is very cool layer. In this layer, meteoroids are burned. So all the heat of meteoroids is burned because it is a very cold layer. So the temperature is dropping in the mesosphere, as you can see. Then above that is known as thermosphere. Again the temperature will increase because thermosphere is also known as ionosphere, because here ions will react and they will generate heat, they will release heat, and because of that the temperature increases. The last layer is known as exosphere. Exosphere is nearmost layer to the sun, so the temperature there is very high. Let us study all the components of environment in detail. Firstly, we'll study about atmosphere. Already I have briefed you about the 5 layers of atmosphere. Let us study them in detail. Let us learn about the temperature range in those layers. Now, first, on the basis of temperature profile and other related phenomena, atmosphere is divided into following major layers. First layer is known as troposphere. It ranges from 0 to 12 kilometers. Nearmost layer to the Earth's surface contains 75% of the gases in the atmosphere. This is where we live and weather occurs. Second layer is known as stratosphere. Stratosphere is from 12 to 50 kilometers. The layer contains ozone layer. Ozone layer acts as a shield for the Earth's surface. It absorbs ultraviolet radiations from the sun. This causes temperature increase in the upper part of the layer. Now, the next layer, the third layer, is known as mesosphere. Mesosphere ranges from 50 to 80 kilometers. This is the coldest region of atmosphere, and the layer protects the Earth from meteoroids as it burns the meteoroids. Right? Now, components of environment, the other layers of atmosphere were thermosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere. Thermosphere ranges from 80 kilometer and above. The air is very thin in this region. Thermosphere means heat sphere. The temperature is very high in this region. Ionosphere, this is the lower part of thermosphere. It extends from 80 km to 550 km. The layer generally helps in radio communication. Then there is exosphere. Exosphere is the upper part of the atmosphere. It extends from 550 km and above. Air is very thin here. This is the area where satellite orbits the Earth. So thermosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. Now let us study about other components of environment which is known as hydrosphere. So basically there are four components of environment: atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere and lithosphere. We have already studied about atmosphere. The second most important component of environment is known as hydrosphere. Hydrosphere means water part of the environment. So hydrosphere, in fact water environment, about 70% of the earth is covered by water. Water is available in seas, ocean, lake, river, glaciers, etc. It is estimated that hydrosphere contains about 1360 million cubic kilometer of water, out of which 97% is ocean and sea and 2% is glacier and ice caps, while remaining 1% of fresh water is available for human consumption. So we only have 1% of water which we can drink or which we can utilize for drinking purpose. So even though the earth is surrounded by so much amount of water, but we only have 1% to consume it. Now let us study about the next component of environment. The next component of environment is known as lithosphere. Now the uppermost part of the earth crust is known as lithosphere. Lithosphere includes soil and its particles, rock, metal, etc. Lithosphere plays an important role as it not only produces food for human beings and animals, but also the decomposition of organic waste is carried out by a host of microorganisms in the soil. Now, we have studied about atmosphere, hydrosphere is water part, lithosphere is the land part of the environment. Now let us study about biosphere. What is biosphere? The life supporting mantle of earth extending from few kilometers into the atmosphere to the deeper ocean is known as biosphere. The region of earth where life exists is known as biosphere. So basically biosphere is combination of atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere where life will exist. That part of each component of environment is known as biosphere. As you can see in the figure, it contains of planet Earth, hydrosphere, lithosphere, the greenery part, the ocean part, the glaciers part, everything where life will exist. Any living organism exists, then it is known as biosphere. Thank you for watching this video, and in today's lecture, let us summarize what we learned today. We learned about what is environment, what are the scopes of environmental science, what are the objectives of environmental science. We learned about different components of environmental science, which were four. In that, we learned about atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. Atmosphere consists of 5 components. Lithosphere is the land area, biosphere is where the existence of life is there, and hydrosphere is a water area. Then in atmosphere, we studied the detailed temperature range and how the temperature is increasing and decreasing as we go above the surface of the earth. Thank you for watching this video, and in next lecture, we'll learn something new. Thank you.